part of 5-1.
Now,
This
do you choose lower numbers to
does
go
it,
down?
as long as you can find a pair.
Does it, like 12, you have to first one further? Or?
Yeah, sometimes, it just depends. I just always go with the closer ones, but don't sit there on the test and think, what is the closest pair? If you find a pair, just roll it up. Okay, last part is finding greatest.
Denominator?
No, not yet. Greatest common factor.
How's that different? That's what I meant, I think. How's that
Greatest common factor. And a couple things we need to write here. Your, I don't want to say it before I write it down.
Is that the highest number that can go in
Yes.
the number? Okay,
Yes.
that's what I meant.
Think of the highest number that can go in both of your numbers.
Okay, so Professor AJ, just a quick question. How is that different from a common denominator? Because isn't the common number the highest number?
Yeah, common denominator is the number they both can go into. A greatest common factor is a number that can go in both of them. So it's kind of the opposite. Like if I had the numbers 4 and 12, if I had the numbers 4 and 12, the common denominator is 12, but the common factor is 4. So it's two completely different things.
Okay.
All right, greatest common factors. Let me give you an example. Let's say I have the numbers, we'll do 4 and 12. 4 and 12 are my numbers. And I want to know what's the largest number that can go into both of them. 4. Now you might think, oh, well, 2 can go into it, but 2 is smaller than 4. You have to go with your bigger ones. If some of you just can't see that, you can write down all the numbers that go into 4. All the numbers that go into 4 are 1, 2, and 4. All the numbers that go into 12 are 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, and 12. And then notice 4 is the greatest that they have in common. So your GCF, or your greatest common factor, is 4. You do not have to show all this work. You can just put your number if you know your numbers. That's not a problem. Let me give you another one. Let's say we have 12 and 18. Try it on your own. I'm going to give you two of them. 12 and 18. And then 24 and 48. 24, 48.
So Professor AJ,
Mm-hmm.
when we're looking, let's say if it's 12 or 18 or 24 or 48, and we're reducing, are we using common denominator or greatest common factor?
Bad. Wait, say that one more time.
When we're looking at that and saying, I can reduce that.
No. They're not fractions.
I know, but I'm just saying when we're doing that, is that,
You're looking for the greatest common factor.
that's what that is? Okay, not denominator. Sorry.
I'm just going to write the factors. You don't have to do this. Some of you might know your skills well enough where you already know. But if you need to write them out, you can. So those are all the numbers that go into 12. Those are all the numbers that go into 18. So what's the largest one that they share?
6.
Six.
And the next one's 8.
So 6 is the GCF. And that's really all you need to write. GCF is 6. Just so I know what you're talking about. Without writing anything down, do you know what the GCF is for number 6?
12.
Ooh, I heard both. I heard 12 and
24.
Yeah. Again, hold on
24.
just a second. 1, 2, 3, 4.
12 is not the answer.
No. And 24. And then for 48, oh boy. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 8, 12, 16, 24, 40. Okay. And again, if you look at your biggest, 24 it is. So it can actually be one of the numbers itself. That's fine. So GCF is 24. So that's the first section. Breaking numbers down, finding GCFs.
I meant that when I said 12 squared, so that's what I said.
The only other one I want you to see, because it does happen, 8 and 15. Let's try that one on your own.
There's not, a 15's a prime, isn't it?
Try
Oh,
it.
3 is not, okay.
Don't give away what you think yet. That's why I chose it.
Is it 1?
It's 1. Because notice your factors of 8, 1, 2, 4, and 8. And then your factors of 15 are 1, 3, 5, and 15. Well, they don't have anything in common except the 1. So the GCF is 1. There are times where some people are just sitting there and they can't see what it is, and it just might be 1. It can happen.
So
Okay?
can they say what's the greatest common factor of 2 prime numbers, and the answer would be 1, or would there be
Yeah,
no answer?
yeah, it's 1. Yep.
So if it's 2 primes, it's always 1.
It's always 1. Yeah. That is correct. All right, so that finishes up that section.
Is the GCF for 0 is 1 as well, right?
That's a good question. I think I'll look it up. We don't really, when I did my math history, we didn't really talk about 0. I know they said specifically 1 was a special case, but I'll look up 0.
I think it's 1.
I'm not 100% sure. Maybe it's undefined. That seems to be the answer going on nowadays. All right, section 522. This is where we get into the fun stuff.
What's her name?
Let's call this just factor. Most of these sections are just going to be labeled factor.
This one with the letters?
Huh?
Did you do this one with the letters?
That's in this section. Okay, 5.2. Right now, it's just going to feel like you're in an English class. Just copy down the words. You'll see what it means in a little while. Steps. 4 factors. I try to break it down as simple as I can. Because sometimes the book just says, oh, you just factor. And you got to figure out which way to do it because there are different ways. So steps for factoring. 1. Factor out a GCF if there's 1 bigger than
This is if there's 1 bigger than 1. If there's not,
then you don't do anything.
Professor Ely, can we just take you with us to Algebra 2? And, you know, we would let you go home on the weekends and stuff, but.
Step 2. Identify what type of factoring? Now, in this class, there are 4 different types of factoring. There are really 5 altogether. The 5th one will be a bonus kind of problem. So at least I've shown you all of them, because the 5th way, I have a really cool way of remembering it. But then when you go to intermediate, they don't teach you the cool way, and it makes me mad. So I'm going to show you it, but it's just an extra credit kind of problem. But that way I have kind of given you a heads up.
Well, why wouldn't you pitch a fit a math meeting and say this is the easier way?
Because I'm not welcome to those meetings yet. Adjuncts don't get that much authority.
What is an adjunct? Does that mean you're still?
It just means you're part-time and don't have a master's degree.
Oh, that's nice.
But my mom's on there, so, but she doesn't work in this department, she works in the calculus department. So yeah, I just do what I'm told, or I sneak it in
You
there.
got it on the crack.
All right, first type of factoring, and we're doing this one today, it's called grouping. And the way you identify if it's a grouping type of factoring is if you have 4 terms. That's the only time it's going to be grouping. The second one is called simple. Well, I call it simple. Simple factoring. We will not get this. This one will be tomorrow. The only one we're doing today is grouping. Simple is 3 terms with a 1 in front of the x squared or y squared or z squared, whatever squared there is, there should be a 1 in front. So you've got grouping, you've got simple. Let's see if I can make room here. The third one, now this one
One in
again,
front of the x squared, is that what you meant?
yeah, 1 in front of the x